What if I told you that the only thing standing between you and the life you want is not your background, not your bank account, not your connections, but your level of confidence? Right now, somewhere in America, someone with less talent than you is winning. Someone with fewer resources is building the business you've been thinking about. Someone with more fear than you is taking action anyway. The difference is not luck. The difference is belief backed by decision. Today, we're not talking about surface-level confidence, not fake smiles, not motivational hype, not temporary excitement. We're talking about building a kind of confidence so strong that rejection can't shake it, criticism can't break it, and setbacks can't stop it. The kind of confidence that changes how you walk into a room. The kind that commands respect without demanding it. The kind that makes success respond to you. Because here's the truth, confidence is not something you're born with. It's something you build, brick by brick, decision by decision, discipline by discipline. In this video, you're going to discover how to develop unstoppable confidence from the inside out, how to master fear, strengthen your mindset, make powerful decisions, and create a presence that attracts opportunity. Not theory, not fluff, but principles that have shaped leaders, entrepreneurs, creators, and high achievers across this country for generations. If you stay with me until the end, you won't just feel motivated, you'll understand how to reprogram your belief system, how to act with certainty even when you're unsure, and how to command success instead of chasing it. So take a deep breath, eliminate distractions, and make one decision right now, that by the end of this message you will no longer doubt your potential, because the next level of your life is waiting, and it begins with confidence. Definiteness of purpose is the foundation upon which all lasting confidence is built. When a person knows exactly what they want, their mind stops wandering and begins concentrating. Uncertainty weakens belief because it divides mental energy, but a clear and specific goal gathers that energy into a single powerful force. A definite purpose acts like a compass, directing thoughts, decisions, and actions toward one meaningful destination. Without it, even the most talented individual drifts from idea to idea, influenced by circumstances, opinions, and temporary emotions. With it, a person develops inner certainty because every action has meaning and direction. This clarity reduces hesitation. It strengthens resolve. It transforms doubt into determination because the mind now understands what it is working toward. When you define your purpose in precise terms, you begin to awaken belief within yourself. The human mind responds powerfully to clear instructions. If you simply wish for success, the word remains vague and produces little emotional intensity. But when you declare a specific achievement, an exact position, income level, business goal, or personal milestone, the imagination engages. You can see it, feel it, and emotionally connect with it. That emotional connection is what fuels confidence. The stronger the emotional attachment to your goal, the more willing you become to endure challenges and temporary setbacks. Purpose creates persistence because it gives struggle a reason. It converts obstacles into stepping stones rather than stop signs. Definiteness of purpose also influences how others perceive you. People naturally trust and follow individuals who speak with clarity and conviction. When you articulate a clear vision, your voice carries authority because it is backed by belief. Indecision, on the other hand, communicates insecurity. A definite purpose shapes your identity. It changes how you introduce yourself, how you spend your time, and how you measure progress. Your daily actions become aligned with your long-term vision, and that alignment builds SE. LF respect. Each disciplined step taken toward a defined objective strengthens your confidence because you witness yourself honoring your commitments. Over time, definiteness of purpose conditions the subconscious mind to search for opportunities that align with your goal. Ideas begin to surface. Connections appear. Solutions become visible where confusion once existed. What once felt impossible begins to feel attainable because your mind has been trained to expect achievement. Confidence grows naturally when your thoughts, actions, and ambitions are unified under one clearly defined aim. Faith through repetition is the process by which belief is deliberately planted and strengthened in the subconscious mind until it becomes unshakable conviction. The human mind is deeply influenced by what it hears and thinks repeatedly. Every thought that is consistently impressed upon the mind begins to shape perception, emotion, and behavior. Whether positive or negative, repetition transforms ideas into beliefs. When a person continually tells themselves they are incapable, doubt becomes natural. When they repeatedly affirm their strength, capability, and determination, confidence begins to take root. The subconscious mind does not argue, it accepts dominant thoughts as instructions and works tirelessly to bring them into reality. Repetition builds faith by replacing uncertainty with familiarity. At first, a bold declaration about your potential may feel artificial or exaggerated, but through consistent repetition, the mind gradually accepts it as truth. This is because repetition reduces resistance. The more often a thought is entertained, the less foreign it feels. Over time, it becomes part of your internal identity. Identity drives behavior, and behavior produces results. When you repeatedly visualize your success, speak your goals aloud, and mentally rehearse achievement, you begin to condition your nervous system to act with assurance. Confidence is strengthened because your mind starts expecting positive outcomes rather than fearing failure. Emotion amplifies the power of repetition. Words spoken with intensity, belief, and enthusiasm penetrate deeper than words spoken casually. When repetition is combined with feeling, it influences not only thought patterns, but also emotional responses. Fear loses its dominance because it is gradually replaced by a stronger emotional association with success. Instead of imagining worst-case scenarios, the mind becomes trained to imagine progress, victory, and growth. This shift in expectation changes posture, tone of voice, and decision-making. Opportunities that were once overlooked become visible because the mind has been instructed to look for them. Faith through repetition also strengthens resilience. When challenges arise, a well-conditioned mind does not immediately surrender to discouragement. It recalls the repeated affirmations and mental images that have been impressed upon it. Those repeated thoughts act as anchors during moments of doubt. The individual who consistently feeds their mind empowering beliefs develops inner stability. Their confidence no longer depends entirely on external approval or temporary results because it has been built internally through disciplined mental training. Over time, repeated belief transforms into automatic certainty, and certainty expresses itself in decisive action, persistence, and an unwavering sense of capability. Mastery over fear is a decisive turning point in the development of true confidence, because fear is the invisible barrier that prevents most people from expressing their full potential. Fear is not inherently destructive, it is a natural emotional response designed to protect. However, when left unexamined, it becomes exaggerated and begins to control thought patterns, decisions, and behavior. The fear of failure, rejection, criticism, or uncertainty quietly shapes choices, often convincing individuals to remain in their comfort zone. Hence, confidence does not grow by eliminating fear entirely, but by confronting it repeatedly until it loses authority. Each time a person moves forward despite fear, they send a powerful signal to their mind that they are stronger than the emotion attempting to restrain them. Fear thrives on imagination. It magnifies worst-case scenarios and presents them as probable outcomes. When the mind continuously rehearses negative possibilities, the body responds with tension and hesitation. Mastery begins when an individual recognizes that fear is often an interpretation rather than a fact. By questioning fearful thoughts and replacing them with deliberate action, the imagined threat begins to shrink. Action is the antidote to fear because it replaces speculation with experience. Once a person takes the step they were avoiding, whether speaking publicly, launching an idea, or making a bold decision, they gather evidence of their capability. That evidence weakens future fear because it proves that discomfort can be survived and even transformed into progress. Mastery over fear also requires discipline of attention. What the mind focuses on expands in influence. If attention remains fixed on potential failure, anxiety intensifies. When attention shifts to preparation, growth, and learning, fear begins to lose dominance. Preparation builds competence, and competence naturally strengthens confidence. As skills improve and knowledge expands, the unknown becomes familiar. Familiarity reduces intimidation. Repeated exposure to previously feared situations gradually conditions the nervous system to remain calm under pressure. Courage is not the absence of trembling, it is the decision to proceed while trembling. Each courageous act reinforces identity. The individual begins to see themselves as someone who acts despite uncertainty. That identity shift is profound because it transforms future responses to challenges. Instead of retreating at the first sign of discomfort, they lean into it. Over time, fear no longer dictates limits, but becomes a signal pointing toward growth. The person who consistently steps beyond fear develops a quiet inner strength that cannot be easily shaken. And that strength becomes the foundation of enduring confidence. Self-discipline and persistence form the structural framework upon which confidence is steadily constructed. Confidence is not merely a feeling that appears before action. It is the result of repeated disciplined behavior carried out regardless of mood or circumstance. Self-discipline is the ability to direct your actions in alignment with your purpose, even when distractions, fatigue, or doubt attempt to interfere. It requires conscious control over impulses and the willingness to prioritize long-term achievement over short-term comfort. Each time you choose focused effort over procrastination, you strengthen your sense of personal authority. That authority builds internal trust because you begin to see yourself as someone who follows through on commitments. Persistence extends the power of discipline over time. While discipline governs daily action, persistence ensures that action continues despite obstacles, delays, or temporary defeats. Many individuals begin with enthusiasm but abandon their efforts when immediate results fail to appear. Persistence transforms effort into progress because it keeps momentum alive. Confidence grows not from occasional bursts of motivation, but from consistent forward movement. When you persist through challenges, you accumulate evidence of resilience. That evidence reshapes your self-image. Instead of identifying as someone who gives up under pressure, you begin to identify as someone who endures and adapts. The practice of self-discipline conditions the mind to expect productivity rather than excuses. It trains you to act according to decisions rather than emotions. Emotions fluctuate, but disciplined routines provide stability. When daily habits align with your larger goals, you reduce internal conflict. This alignment creates psychological strength because your actions reinforce your intentions. Over time, even small disciplined efforts compound into meaningful achievements. Those achievements reinforce belief in your capability, making future challenges seem more manageable. Persistence also develops emotional endurance. Repeated effort in the face of setbacks teaches patience and strengthens problem-solving ability. Instead of interpreting difficulty as a sign to quit, you begin to view it as a natural stage of growth. This shift in perception prevents discouragement from taking control. The individual who combines discipline with persistence becomes reliable not only to others but to themselves. That reliability forms a powerful foundation for confidence because it removes uncertainty about one's own behavior. When you know that you will continue regardless of obstacles, hesitation diminishes. The certainty that you will act again tomorrow and the next day and the next creates an unshakable belief in your ability to achieve meaningful success. A positive mental attitude is the invisible energy that shapes how you interpret circumstances, respond to challenges, and present yourself to the world. It is not blind optimism or denial of difficulty, but a deliberate choice to focus on possibilities rather than limitations. The mind naturally seeks evidence to support its dominant outlook. When your attitude is negative, you unconsciously search for problems, criticism, and proof that success is unlikely. When your attitude is positive, you begin noticing opportunities, solutions, and lessons hidden within setbacks. This shift in perception directly influences confidence because it alters the meaning you assign to experiences. Instead of seeing failure as a personal deficiency, you interpret it as feedback for improvement. Instead of viewing obstacles as permanent barriers, you regard them as temporary conditions that can be overcome with effort and creativity. A positive mental attitude strengthens emotional stability. Circumstances fluctuate, and external validation is unpredictable. When your confidence depends solely on favorable outcomes, it becomes fragile. A positive attitude creates internal balance because it is rooted in choice rather than circumstance. You decide to maintain belief in progress even when immediate results are absent. This consistency of outlook prevents discouragement from dominating your thinking. It allows you to remain calm under pressure and maintain clarity when others become overwhelmed. Calmness itself communicates confidence, both internally and externally. Your mental attitude also shapes how others perceive and respond to you. People are naturally drawn to individuals who radiate optimism, determination, and constructive energy. A positive thinker tends to speak with hope, act with enthusiasm, and approach collaboration with openness. These qualities build trust and influence because they create an atmosphere of possibility. In contrast, negativity repels opportunity by creating tension and doubt. When you consistently demonstrate a positive mental attitude, you become associated with resilience and reliability. This reputation reinforces your own self-image as someone capable of navigating adversity. Maintaining a positive mental attitude requires conscious effort. It demands monitoring your thoughts, challenging limiting beliefs, and intentionally directing attention toward growth. Over time, this disciplined thinking pattern becomes habitual. As your focus shifts from what is lacking to what can be achieved, your confidence strengthens naturally. You begin to expect constructive outcomes because your mind has been trained to search for them. That expectation influences your behavior, encouraging bold action and steady perseverance even in uncertain environments. The power of decision is one of the most defining traits of confident individuals. UALs because it eliminates hesitation and establishes control over direction. Indecision drains energy, creates doubt, and weakens belief in one's own judgment. When a person delays choices out of fear or overanalysis, they unconsciously communicate uncertainty to themselves. This repeated hesitation conditions the mind to question its own authority. In contrast, the act of making clear and timely decisions strengthens self-trust. Each firm choice reinforces the idea that you are capable of evaluating circumstances and selecting a course of action. Confidence expands when you witness yourself deciding rather than drifting. Decisiveness creates momentum. Once a decision is made, mental conflict decreases because attention shifts from questioning to execution. Energy that was previously divided among possibilities becomes focused on progress. This focus increases productivity and reduces anxiety. The mind functions more efficiently when it has direction, and direction is established through choice. Even when outcomes are imperfect, the willingness to decide prevents stagnation. Action generates experience, and experience refines judgment. Over time, consistent decision-making sharpens intuition and strengthens clarity, making future choices easier and more accurate. The power of decision also separates leaders from followers. Individuals who command success understand that prolonged hesitation often stems from fear of criticism or failure. They recognize that waiting for perfect certainty is unrealistic. Instead, they gather sufficient information, trust their reasoning, and move forward with conviction. This decisiveness communicates authority to others. People respond to clarity because it reduces ambiguity and inspires trust. When you speak and act with firm intention, your presence carries greater influence. Others perceive stability and strength in your demeanor. Decision-making builds resilience because it accepts responsibility. When you decide, you accept ownership of both outcomes and lessons. This ownership strengthens character and deepens maturity. Rather than blaming circumstances, you evaluate results and adjust strategy. The habit of decisive action trains the mind to remain solution-oriented. Instead of lingering on what might go wrong, attention centers on what can be improved. Confidence grows steadily when you repeatedly prove to yourself that you will choose, act, learn, and choose again. Through this cycle, hesitation loses its grip, and self-assurance becomes a natural expression of disciplined thought and purposeful action. In conclusion, unstoppable confidence is not something you wait to feel. It is something you build through clarity of purpose, disciplined repetition of belief, courageous action in the face of fear, persistent effort, a positive mental attitude, and firm decision-making. Each of these principles works together to transform uncertainty into certainty and hesitation into authority. When your thoughts are aligned with a clear goal, when your words reinforce belief, and when your actions reflect discipline and persistence, confidence becomes your natural state. You stop reacting to circumstances and begin directing them. You stop hoping for opportunities and start creating them. Success is no longer something distant or unpredictable.